Grow Great is a city government leadership podcast with Lisa Norris and me, Randy Cantrell. Each week we share insights, experiences, and wisdom to help you and your leadership grow great. Our website is growgreat.com. It is Wednesday, December the 18th, 2024, as we are sitting here recording today's episode. This is a time of year you would think the holidays would be festive, and they are, but there's pretty empirical evidence that for a lot of people it's a horrible, horrible time of year. A lot of struggle, a lot of anxiety. And some of that can be personal, but an awful lot of it can be professional. It doesn't matter if you're in city government or in any organization. There's just pressures that come with end of year, and timing is everything, I suppose. But on my mind, Lisa, is just the adversity that we face in these moments of time. You have heard me say repeatedly, we're all going through something. There are these moments of time. Lisa and I just got off of kind of a group call that Lisa is part of, and everybody had a story, and not every story was awful, but everybody had a story of some challenge, professional or personal, some adversity. They're different because there's a handful of people in this group, and everybody's in a different city, everybody's in a different circumstance and situation. But as I was listening to that call, it just struck me. And I ended that call by advising everybody in the group, we've just got to think about this as a moment in time. And if you think about your life and you think about all the challenges that you've had in the past, and Lord knows you and I both have had a bunch of them, you've had a particularly, in some ways, on a personal level, with the loss of your dad, me with the loss of my mother, we've had some personal challenges like
struggles.
that. And yet, as you look back, I mean, they were a moment in time. Now, sometimes the moments, it just feels like, okay, this is just a never-ending moment. But part of that story that is our life, there's something to just the resilience of just being able to say, I may quit, but not today. This may beat me, but it's not going to beat me today. So I don't know, as we kind of end the year, and Lord willing, we'll wrap up with one more show before the end of the year, but I don't know. On my mind is just encouragement, because I just know when I sit in front of clients day in and day out, all of whom are high performers, they crave two things. And I told our group this this was our final group meeting for the year. They all crave two things. They crave encouragement, and they crave caring challenge. They want to be challenged to be better and to do better. But to me, those two things dovetail. So I don't know. Can we have some kind of a conversation? What are your thoughts when I mention these kinds of things, these moments in time that they might just seem awful, but they might seem perplexing. They might seem riddled with anxiety. I mean, they could bring on any number of things that might not be ideal for us in the moment, but yet I look back at the adversity that I have faced, and all of the lessons came from that. All of the positive things came from that. All of the opportunities came from that.
They always come. Our growth happens most under times of challenge and stress. I think you grow so much, it's moving through it and trying to, like, I remember you saying when we first met, and you probably remember what you said, but it was something to the effect of, Lisa, this is just a chapter in your book. It's not the whole novel. It's just a chapter. We just got to get through the chapter and turn the page. And I remember you specifically, because when you're in the moment, it's harder to flip the page because you don't see an end to that page. And then when you flip that page, there's another challenge in that same chapter. And it's just getting through each page and each chapter to get to the new one. And there becomes a light. At some point, as you're navigating, whether it's one chapter or many, at some point, a light shines and you're like, I see it. And I think we were a year in probably. And I said, I see the light. I can see my way out. But it took I think it took about a good solid year of us working together to work, because I'd fixed one thing and 3 more things went haywire, right, as we moved through it. So for me, it's the patience and duration to move through the challenge that you're having, to think about what's in front of you and what you can control. And I've had that conversation with so many people. You are in control of you. You are not in control of Randy or the person sitting in front of you or the circumstance. If it's happened, it's happened. Don and I, as an example, he's retired now, but it's Christmas time. Christmas time, you talked about anxiety and stress, comes with exchanging gifts. Our family, we're having challenges. They're all young families. They're trying to provide and buy something for their children, and then travel and trying to stress, should we go to H families, residence, etc. This year, Don said, guys, all the adults, why don't we draw names? We don't have to exchange with everybody. Let's pick a person. It reduces stress. You got to buy one thing
Right.
at some dollar limit, right? So we've chosen to do that this year. But along with that, as we did this, so I'm trying to get presents. We're between Oklahoma and Dallas, trying to figure out when Brandon as a police officer can be off and spend time with us for Christmas, when Haley's in Austin can come up. Well, we're doing our Christmas Saturday, 21st. And that's when my mom's available as well. All that to be said, we get home from Oklahoma prepping. Don's tires. We come back from Illinois. We just got back from Illinois on Monday evening. Don's tire on his truck completely flat, to the ground flat. Okay. Take it in, thinking they just need to air up the tire. We've tried to air it up. Your tires are all, Discount Tire. I trust them. They have never led us astray. And they said, you have 4 bad tires.
No, they're great.
So we all trust Discount Tire. And I said, well, Don's like, oh, I'm sick. So we had to purchase 4 new tires in less than 4 hours.
And they're very inexpensive.
They're very inexpensive. And it all feels so worth it when you get them. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, guess what? So today.
But you got to have them.
He calls me. He said, tires look fantastic. The front one, same one, just went flat again. I'm like, wait a second. He said, I think the rim is bent. Because he hit something going to Oklahoma. He went into a ditch or something.
Right. So it wouldn't
hold. And it was a hard jar.
Yeah, right.
So he took it in. Sure enough, we're going to have to get new rims. The rim's bent, so it's not holding air. So it's not just the tire purchase on a 3,500 Silverado diesel, mind you.
Yeah. And if you think tires are expensive, then buy rims.
And you have to understand my husband, who will not purchase any. All he wants to do is for me, because he's retired. He doesn't have, he's not working, and he's like, oh, I'm sick. And I said, I sent him a text saying, it is what it is.
Yeah,
we can't control it.
No,
just purchase, and we will figure it out. You need to get it. I want you safe on the road. He drives that thing to and from every week.
Yeah, it's not something you want to chance.
No. So all that, did we want that extra stress during Christmas and that extra expense? No. Can I control it? That the tire went flat? No. I just can't. I'm not going to invest my energy worrying about it. We were talking about how to navigate it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same way when you encounter a problem. I think, what is that saying, Randy? You know these phrases much better than I. When they talk about don't sweat the small stuff for one day, and you'll realize it was the big stuff down the road. You just got to get through the moments.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact phrase, but it was something to that effect. You just.
Yeah, but I think it's an accurate sentiment, provided that we can have the perspective of realizing that this is a moment in time.
Correct.
I'll just pass on the things that have helped me. Number one, a look back at history. So if I look back at the times that I was just, this is just so bad. I hate this so much. And some of those lasted months. Some may have lasted more than a year.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
I
they
got-
aren't typically a day. I mean, it's
No,
not just a
no,
bad day. It's a
no.
period of time where you get worn out.
Well, we have those, but those aren't typically the things that just kind
That
of
bother us
that
the
slobber
most.
knock us. It's like,
Yeah.
man, alive. You just it's where you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So for me, looking back historically and analyzing, okay, I maybe I haven't seen this specific thing before, but I've seen things like this before. I've
Sure,
endured
of
things
course.
like this before. And guess what? Here I am on Wednesday, December the 18th, 2024, and I'm still here. I survived it. I survived
And survived it well.
Yeah, survived it,
Yeah.
made it through, made it through the hot water heater blowing up or the tire situation or all that. Made it through all that, made it through the career challenges and whatnot. Did it work out ideally? Probably. But this is probably number two, is just my viewpoint, my worldview of gratitude.
Mhm.
I just don't know any better path forward than gratitude, than to be grateful for
Mhm.
what has been and grateful for what is. Could it be better? It absolutely could be better. But as the old adage goes, it could always be worse.
That's right.
And so, okay, I'm thankful that I've got what I've got. We got new tires on Rhonda's vehicle recently, and it's like, okay, well, thankful that we've got the wherewithal to go buy new tires at Discount
Yeah.
Tire, by the way. Shout
For
out
sure.
to Discount Tire. If you want to sponsor the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So gratitude is the way forward, but just this viewpoint of this isn't final and I'm in control. This is the third thing for me, is the realization that I'm responsible. Doesn't mean I'm to blame, but I'm responsible for now what? So if this bad thing has happened to me, the flat tire or whatever
Right.
it may be, okay, now what am I going to do about this? Because the cavalry isn't coming to rescue me. They're not coming to rescue you either. So we have got to be our own force of nature and make the best of this. So what am I going to do?
Right.
And I guess the final thing for me, the fourth thing that I would mention is it really is only an adversary to the degree that I let it be adversarial. I saw or read something a long time ago, and there was a conversation about language, and that if somebody is cussing me out, but it's in a language that I don't understand, well, I'm not going to get upset about it because I don't even know they're doing it, even though they know they're doing it. But
Right.
if they curse me out in English, I understand it. And now that has an impact on me. Well, what's the difference?
Yeah.
You're getting cussed out both ways, but one of them has an impact on you because you allow it to have an impact. The other doesn't have an impact on you because you can't allow it because you don't even understand it. So that resonated with me, and I thought, I wonder if I could approach life with a little more naivete, positive naivete of, I'm not responsible. I'm not always responsible. Let me clarify this. I'm not always responsible for the way other
Yeah.
people may view me or the opinion they may have of me. I am if I've misbehaved or if I've done something, but if I haven't and they just don't approve, not my problem.
Right.
Unless I make it my problem. And so that's the fourth thing for me, is I've just worked really hard to just not make it my problem. And then you just move forward because it's going to end.
Yeah.
Because nothing so far has completely obliterated my life. There's been adversity, but I've come through it. I've come through it as an individual. I've come through it as a husband. I've come through it as a father. I've come through it as a grandfather. I've come through it as a business guy. I've come through it as a coach. And I'm pretty confident, based on the history, I'm going to come through it moving forward. So that's my take.
I'd add to that, and along similar lines, but what has helped me survive the moments are a couple things. one, I have to rely on the facts. What are the facts and what's within my control of those facts? In the case of the car, we need new tires. I need him to be safe and I need him to get home to me safely. We're going to have to purchase new tires. Do we like putting stuff on a credit card? Never. We did this time. And I said, we'll figure it out later. We just put it on the credit card. I don't like doing that. Our credit card balance was very low. I have to rely on the facts. He needs tires. We don't have the cash. And we do have cash. I don't want to deplete savings because that's a whole nother need. So I'm relying on the facts and to make a decision with what's in my control. What can I control in this situation and the outcome that I need, right? What does the outcome need to be and what I control? I can't worry about what Randy thinks. I can't worry about what everybody's telling me they would do because they aren't Lisa Norris in this situation today.
Yeah, they don't get a vote in your life unless you
They don't get a vote. So I have to do what I can within my control. I always tell people, don't knee jerk and make it H and E. H as in Henry and E. Huge and emotional. Don't make a huge and emotional. Don't blow up and say, I'm going to go broke and I can't do this. And I just am going to have to get a new car because I don't want to pay for the tires on the truck. And I'd rather have a $400 car payment and sell this. And, you see people, and we've all done it.
Sure.
You get in your head and you're having a bad day. You're tired. The kids are, it's something we get inside our heads and
then that
we predict
point happens.
The breaking. And I remember you going, okay, worst case scenario. And then you'd say something and you'd go, okay. And if that happens, what's it? I forgot how you phrased it. What happens
I remember asking you.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah, and I always do this because everybody asks the question, but only the bravest of people answer the question. What's the worst thing that can happen?
There you go.
Most of the times, nobody answers it. They just, I'm just worst case scenario. Okay, well, what is the worst case scenario? And if you come up with something, I forgot what your answer was, but invariably I'm going to ask, okay, and is that going to happen? Nobody. I mean, 100% of people.
I was like, well, it might. You said, okay, what if that happens?
Yeah, 100% of the people say, no, that ain't going to happen. Okay, well, what is the worst thing then? And now we start backtracking, and the worst thing that
getting
can happen,
out of our head.
Now the worst thing that can happen, okay, it's not ideal, but it ain't so bad. It's manageable. It's perfectly doable. Yeah,
we just get wrapped up in ourselves and we get wrapped up in emotion. So don't make it huge and emotional. If you need to get it out, and then make a decision and go, okay, what's in front of me? I always, if people are H&E, I said, go take a breath, go write it down. Go just take 2 seconds to write down what your options are. And then we walk through it. And that's helped a lot of people if you can do that. The last thing is I always say, phone a friend, like the old millionaire, phone a friend. And I'm talking about a friend who tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Somebody that you trust, that you can just unload and then starts asking you, well, what's the worst thing that could happen if you do that? Like you did. You did it with Connie. You didn't tell me what to do. You didn't say, well, Lisa, you need the tires.
No, and that's the challenge, I think, for a lot of people, though, is because
that's my thoughts.
Our friends, even though they're our friends, mostly are hugely judgmental. Well, I can tell you what you ought to do, and it's...
And they're not us. They don't know your financial situation. They don't know your circumstances.
That's usually not helpful. But, I would add to my list people for sure.
Yeah.
We need other people. We need the encouragement to get through it. I would also add to it, as we've been talking it through, find the lesson.
Yeah.
Find the thing that you can learn. I'm thinking of clients that I know are facing some career challenges, and maybe it's not a fit. Maybe they feel whatever.
Right.
There's just all kinds of professional challenges that high performers can face. And and we can give up hope. And maybe that's the right play. I don't know.
Right.
As you hear me say, you do you. But I think let's look for the opportunity. How can I learn? What can I learn from this? For whatever time I'm in this tunnel, is there something I can learn that once I come out of this tunnel that I'm going to be better for?
Yeah.
That's my take.
Yeah. You just, I like you. I know personalities get into play here. We all have a different personality. I'm normally even keel. Have I lost it in moments when it just hit me wrong? We all do. Of course I have. If I can help people generally, those are the topics. Those are the things I'd think about. If you can jot something down. I think sometimes the worst thing we can do, unless you're forced into it in a moment and have to make a decision, is to make it on your own. You know, even on the tire decision, Don and I were bouncing it back and forth. And I said, can you get one tire? And he goes, of course not. It's a racket. You know, they priced one wheel at $570 if you get it from Chevrolet, and the whole set is like $1,200 or something.
Right.
And I'm like, well, of course you can't buy one. Why? What was I thinking? You know, but you know, and he's like, I might as well just buy the new set, because what if another one's damaged? Since all, you know, I'm like, oh, that's a good point. You might as well get the, you know, we don't want to wait 2 weeks for Chevrolet to get it in if we can get it tomorrow at discount, right? Yeah. Because he needs to be safe. And of course,
and you don't need
of course, we're going out of town. We're going back to Oklahoma.
Yeah, and you don't need to be out in the middle of the country where you're miles and miles away from a tire shop.
And is there a discount tire near Wetumpka, Oklahoma? Of course there is not. Of course
there isn't.
It's 54 miles away.
Yeah.
Right next to the Walmart. We also need to go to.
Yeah, there's that.
So
I don't know. I just love the quote, you know, I may quit, but not today. And if today is the day you decide to quit, then power to you. You know, it's kind of my attitude. But we got to buck up and muscle through it. I think there's value in muscling through a difficult situation, even if we do know that eventually I'm going to get out of this one. I'm going to quit this one. I'm going to do whatever. There's something to, I think, the diligence and the resilience, just to flex your muscles a little bit through the adversity.
Control what you can, and I'm going to quit, but not today. Keep rolling.
Thanks for watching and listening to Grow Great, a city government leadership podcast. For Lisa Norris, I'm Randy Cantrell. Be well, do good, grow great. The website is growgreat.com.